Can you see my screen now?
It's coming up.
Is it up now?
Yes, it is up.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, once again. My name is Priscilla Agbelusi, and I will be your trainer today for the ISO 27001 management system. It's a very interesting management system, and I believe and I hope that those of us that are experts already on this call would be able to identify what I'm saying, and those of us that we are new to this standard would be able to learn a lot from this session. So quick one, I just want to ask, you can just put it in the chat box. What do we think information security management systems is all about? What do we think it is in a layman terms? Like, what do we, if anybody mentions ISO 27001 information security management system, what is that thing that comes first to mind? Let me quickly go to the chat box to see if getting any response. Quick one, quickly. The next, by 9:40, she commenced the class. So I just want to know if we have an idea of what it is. Thank you so much, Michael. Michael said it seeks to protect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information. Thank you so much. Any other person? Any other person? Oh, nobody's saying anything. Or are we still typing? Information protection, Loretta. Thank you so much. That's very, very, very blunt. Information protection. Okay, is this Ishmael? Okay, yes, he said information security controls to guide data protection and security. Okay, I'm learning a lot from our definition here. Any other person? We have 1 more minute or less than a minute. Any other person? Priscilla, I need to see your answer in the chat box. Mercy said, oh, yes, I know. I wanted to see the chat box. I don't know why it wasn't making me see that. Thank you so much, Mercy. Any other answer? Michael also said it has clauses from 1 to 10, but the focus is mainly on from 4 to 10, and also 97 annexes, and also includes statement of applicability that seeks to defend reasons for inclusion, exclusion, and also justification for it. Thank you so much. It's actually 93 controls, not 97, but thank you so much for that. That is very, very concise. Please pardon my pronunciation. It says rules on managing and securing organization information. Ismail also said information security management system. I said, what is information security management? It's giving me back. Priscilla said privacy protection. Nike, is it Nike or Nike? It says securing data and following structure or standards. Judith said it is a process that helps collect, store, and process data into information. Thank you so much, everyone, to everyone that has answered the question. As much as I would like to say, okay, there's a one-way definition as to how you define information security management system, there's no one way to define it. Everybody's answer with regards to how they see information security management system is very much correct. As long as the goal of your the end point of your definition is for you to protect your data, Because if you look at the security after the information, it speaks a lot. So it's information security, then the information you have, securing it, and how you manage it within the system that you have within your environment. So yeah, so our learning objectives for today is for us to be able to understand the purpose and benefits of the management system. Is also for us to identify the key components and structure of the management system. And is also for us to be able to understand the core information security principles that the standard has already laid down for us. And it's also to help describe the requirements for establishing and maintaining an information security management system. So the outline for today's engagement is that we should be able to know what information security management system is. And thank God, majority of us already, we know that answer already. It's also for us to be able to understand the overview history and standard, the overview history behind the standard, and also the key updates and changes in the new version, because most of us will be familiar with the new version, which is the 2022 version, and also to understand the benefits of implementing this management system within our organization. So now, quickly, what is information security management system? You can see here from the definition that it is a systemic approach to manage your sensitive company information by ensuring that it remains secured. So the end goal of the management system is to ensure that you know how to properly manage all your information within your organization and also secure it properly. It's one thing to manage something, is another thing to secure what you're managing. So if what you are managing is not properly secured, there's no point of you managing that particular thing. But you want to ensure that you manage it, the process of you managing it, you are securing it in an appropriate manner. So, and it also includes all of your policies, the procedures and controls that you will be adopting as an organization to migrate the standard into the organization, to manage and migrate the standard into the organization. And the purpose, also one of the main purposes of the management system is to also help you identify the risk that can be attached to each of these or each of your information assets within your organization. So, and the main aim of this, I think somebody mentioned that in the chat box, is to help you ensure that TIA is met. C for confidentiality, I for integrity, and A for availability. And in overall, ensuring that data is only accessible to authorized individuals. It must be accurate, and your data must be available to those who needs it when it is needed. So not just anybody can ask for certain information from you within your organization or your organization as a whole. There should be a structure that should be in place to help manage how people access the data within your organization, the information within your organization. Even you personally as an individual, nobody can just come to meet you to ask for certain kind of information without you asking questions as to why the person needs information before you decide, okay, should I share this information with this person or not? So now, how much more our organization or our organizational assets or our information within the organization, right? What are the importance of information security management system? Number one, it helps reduce the risk of data breaches and security incidents within our organization. It also demonstrates compliance with legal, regulatory, and contractual obligations within our organization. It also helps build trust with our clients, our partners, and stakeholders by showing a commitment to information security. I used to tell organizations, I said that if I'm to audit an organization, now the first thing I check is the website. Once I get to your website, I check if you already, I can know from your website if you adopted the implementation of the management system. You might be implementing it internally, but it is not out there for everyone to know yet. But one of the key major purpose or one of the key requirements for you as an organization is to ensure that you communicate the implementation of the management system to your external stakeholders. So, and majority of your external stakeholders goes to your website first before even having engagement with you. And if I get to your website, I see that you've not included a section that has to do with the information security management system on your website, then you've not fully adopted the standard, because that is a key requirement. So one of the ways this can help as an organization, or we ourselves as an individual who have our own business, and let's say we are implementing the management system, let everybody know. Even if you've not even gotten the certificate yet, let everybody know that yes, so it's ongoing within our organization, right? And it helps build trust with partners. I remember there was a time within my organization we wanted to use a particular service, a service provider, wanted to use a particular service provider, but because of that particular service provider don't have a particular regulatory body adopted within their organization, and because it is a major requirement with regards to the type of service that they provide, we didn't end up using them, because we're like, if you don't have this thing implemented, that means if anything should happen to my information with you, you can, or let's say anything happens to your organization now, my information with you now is at risk without anything that is properly guiding you on how to manage it, right? So has to build trust with your clients, your partners, and all stakeholders. They need to see that you are committed to the implementation of the standard, or to the standard that you already have, or the standard you already started adopting within your organization. So what is the objective of the ISO 27001? Number one, it helps with the security. It makes employees, your management, your customers, your vendors, and other stakeholders to be security conscious. It makes you to be security conscious. Your environment, in our local environment, they will tell you once it's certain time, don't come out. You personally, that thing is already stick into your brain. So anytime you're out and you're seeing that it's like it's already getting to that time and I'm not supposed to be out, what will you do? You would want to go back home on time. And the reason why you want to go back home, or the reason why you are responding to that particular curfew, is because of you are very security conscious of yourself. The same thing also with our organization. One of the major objectives of the implementation of the management system is to make everyone that is associated to our organization to be security conscious. They will make them, I won't use the word smart, but yes, smart. Makes them security conscious, make them become more aware of their information assets. We also have, it helps us to have competent professionals within our organization. Makes us have competent security professionals, information security professionals within our organization. And that's why for your organization, anytime they want to implement the standard within the organization, the first thing they do is to send you on training. Each staff that will be involved in the implementation of the standard has to go for training, and then they will get certificate. The knowledge that they've gotten throughout the implementation of the standard, they come and share it within the organization. Then it also helps to secure our information, our documents, our file, and our records. And it also helps secure our software applications, our hardware applications, and our databases. And all of these things that is listed here in the objective, we would later realize that it's one of those things that will help us know how to approach our risk, our information security risk, right? Another objective is to help us adopt the appropriate information security policies and procedures. Like, I think it was Michael that said that when he gave his definition of the information security management system. Not all of the controls can be applicable to you as an organization. And the reason why you would know that, when he mentioned the SOA is to also help you know which one is appropriate or which one is applicable to your organization. So if you've been able to identify all appropriate or all associated policies within your organization and the procedures, it will help you know how to properly implement the standard within your organization. And it also helps to continually improve our security system, our security ecosystem within our organization. That is, help us improve our strategy, our processes, systems, and the people. Coming. Okay. I thought the question was for me in the chat box. Okay. So, what are the top 5 considerations for an effective information security adoption within our organization? We have the leadership, governance, and executive management. Leadership matters a lot. I tell organizations that you would not be on this call if your management did not give you the approval to go ahead with the training. Or if your management does not even see a need for the training within the training within the organization, or the need for the standard within the organization. I usually get excited, or it usually excites me anytime I jump on a call with a client and we're trying to we're implementing the standard. I see management executives on the call asking questions, wanting to be involved, wanting to know what it is itself. Because it just shows that, yes, the readiness for the implementation adoption of the standard is very, very much important. So if any one of us here on the call, we are an implementer, or we are a consultant, or anything we may be in the information security management system ecosystem, this is one of the traits, or these are one of the traits you should look out for. The involvement of management. It's very, very much important. Then we have the strategy, approach, and methodology with which we use to implement the standard. In my dialect, they will say one way does not lead to the market, but you shall know the end goal is for you to get to a particular market, but there can be different ways to get to that market. The same thing also with the implementation of the standard. There's no one defined approach, but the end goal of whatever method you'll be using is to ensure that you meet up with the requirements of the standard with regards to that particular control. Then also the documentation and operation procedures within the organization that we as an organization have already adopted is very much important. How we document our policies, our procedures, our process diagrams, our monograms, all the kind of things, the flow chart, everything that has to do with the adoption of the management system, as long as it is documented, the manner or the way at which you document it is actually very much important too. Is important as much as you want the standard, or you want that particular certification within your organization. Then the system and technology platforms that we also use to help adopt this management system is also very much important. And that's why oftentimes, during the course of the implementation of the standard, organizations would end up adopting a new technology platform or a new system within the organization, because this is that, okay, the one that they have in existence cannot help them to meet the requirements of this standard. So they need something more. Then they go ahead to implement or to adopt a new technology platform. Then also the structure of the organization and its people. So making them aware and also making them know what it is itself. Put it everywhere within your organization. Anybody that is working at my organization, if I walk into my organization, the first thing I will see is my organization objective for the year. So anytime I see it, I'm like, I cannot fail. I just have to meet up with it. I just have to get it. So anytime I walk in, I'm like, that's the first thing I am seeing. Then within the organization too, we have signs of information security management systems all around us. So as I'm seeing it, I know it, and because it's imprinted in my memory. So within the organization too, one of the effective way of adopting the management system is to ensure that we understand the structure of our organization, and also help manage or also ensure that within the organization, staffs are fully aware of what the management system itself is all about. So what are the elements of information security management system? We have the people, which are your staff and your stakeholders. You have the culture of your organization, that's how your business operates, and the processes that is involved within the organization. Then you also have the technology and system. So these are the key 3 elements to that helps with the adaptation of the management system within the organization. So what are the components of the management system? We have the documentation and records, like we've said, the risk assessment and management, like we said, we would look at that as we go on. Our policies and procedures, then our security controls, the security controls that applies to us. If you look at this diagram, you would see that the documentation and records, it's intertwined with our information security policies and our procedures. The security controls is also intertwined with our risk assessment and management. But in everything, the meeting point of everything is to ensure that all of these things that we are considering helps protect our information assets within the organization. So what is the evolution of the management system? I won't really bore us with this, but we have the first one where we looked at just the overview of the international standard for the management system. Then the British system origin now came into place. That's when the framework itself, the initial framework for the management system came into the market. Then we now have when it now became globally known across the world. So organizations started adopting it. This is when they started adopting it in 2005. Yes. Then we have the 2013 version. It's just an update of the 2005 version. Then the 2022 version, it helps, it covers different areas and aspects of all other management systems because you can't live without. You can't live without. So it helps. It's actually 2022 version reflects the current cybersecurity landscape and the technological challenges that organization might face or organization face when it comes to the adoption of the management system. So what are the benefits of the management system or implementing the management system within our organization? Number one, it helps enhance our data security and risk and help reduce the risk within our organization. So it helps enhance our data security or helps enhance the security of our data and also reduce the risk that is attached to each of our identified data. So that's why I said there's no one way to the definition of what ISMS is. People have said privacy, people have said data protection, everything joined together is still the same. Then you have regulatory compliance, also for you to be able to, stand out across organization, right? That also speaks to the competitive advantage. The adaptation of the management system helps you stand out within your competitors. Then for regulatory compliance, so that that's why you see like banks now, right? The CBN, okay, those of us that in Nigeria would know this. CBN has made certain manage or certain what should I say? Certain framework necessity that no, how should I put this in this? Yes, CBN has made certain framework or certain requirements compulsory within organizations. Yes, that's the right word. They have made it compulsory within organizations. So one of it is this management system. That's why if we check every bank in Nigeria right now, those that have not gotten it yet, they're probably still on their way to get the certification within their organization. But those that already have it, you would notice that out of 100% of banks within Nigeria, you see like probably 99 or 98% already has it, because it's actually very much important for them to actually have it implemented within the organization, because they deal with sensitive information. They have sensitive information that they deal with from time to time. Their customers, their stakeholders, everybody that is associated to the organization. Then it also helps increase the customer and stakeholder trust. It helps increase the trust between you as an organization and your third parties. Then it also helps in operational efficiency and business resilience. Then it also helps in the alignment with your business goals. It helps with the alignment of your business goals, right? So those are the benefits of the implementation of the management system within the organization. So what are the core concepts of information security? Number one, it helps you understand the CIA triad, right? It helps you understand the CIA triad, which is the confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Then it also helps you understand the risk management basis, right? It also helps you have an overview of the common threats and vulnerabilities that is applicable to your organization. So now, before I actually dive into this, I want to know if you understand. So far, we understand what it is that we've been talking about. Do you have any question for me? Should we go ahead? If you want us to go ahead, just give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. So, understanding the CIA triad. Now, this is the confidentiality, integrity, and availability triad. So these are the three core concepts or three core principles of the information security management system. Number one, your information should be confidential. The integrity of the information should be intact. That is to say, the information should not be altered. Then the availability of that information when needed should be taken into consideration, should be of high priority. So, and it is also used as a guidance for the implementation of the security measures within the organizations, within our organization, which ensure the protection of our information assets. That's why sometimes when we are treating, or when we are not sometimes, all the time when we are treating risk, if we are looking at a particular asset and we want to measure or want to calculate the risk that is attached to this particular asset, we consider, the first thing we consider is the CIA of that particular asset. We ask ourselves, we say, okay, this asset now, is the confidentiality with the current state at which this asset is within the organization, is there a likelihood that the confidentiality will be affected? Is there a likelihood that the integrity will be altered? And is there a likelihood that if this information is needed, it will not be available? Once we consider all of those things, we're like, okay, no, I think with the current system we have, we are actually in a good place. The reason why they can be able to say that is because they've looked at what they have, where they are going to, and what they want to do to get there. And they're like, okay, I think we are on the right track. And that is one of the basic concepts when it comes to the CIA with the implementation of the management system. So now let's look at confidentiality. It says here that these are the measures that are being put in place in ensuring that information is accessible only to those authorized to view or use it. Only those that are authorized to view or use it. They are the only ones that should have access to that particular data. And that's why information classification is very much important. It's very, 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 very important. It's a vital control in the management system. And every organization, it should not even be an exception for any organization. It should not be an exception for any organization. And I think that is being looked at in Annex 5.12, which we will look at very shortly. So the confidentiality measure also helps you, put in the proper mechanisms to help protect the information or data that you've classified to be of, to be of high priority or of high importance to the organization. So it will not be just put out there for anybody to just have access to, right? So this is best attained through mechanisms like encryption, access controls, and classification of information. I mentioned that previously. So an example of breaches that can affect the confidentiality of our information is data leakage caused by insufficient access control mechanism, and unauthorized sharing or interception of sensitive information, right? So some of us, we are very used to any small thing. Of course, even if you are in an organization that I remember when I was about working in a particular organization, the first thing they told me, they said, yes, with the kind of environment we have, I know you might want to get familiar with your colleagues, but please ensure that even if you are on a particular project, someone who is doing another project that is not the same thing as yours should not know what it is that you are doing within your project. Because that is because the project you are working on, you are working with organization, you're working with clients. that are very well known within the organization. You cannot just afford to just be sharing that information anyhow, just because this person is my friend. So, and I used to tell people, even your closest friends, be very suspicious of them and just don't share certain information to them or with them. Then we have on the integrity aspect of the CIA triad. This is known as the process for ensuring that information remains accurate, complete, and unaltered, both during shortage and transmission. And it is best achieved through measures like your checksums, your hashing, your digital signatures, and version control systems. So the integrity of an information should be properly kept. Is they just take it as the reputation of that particular information. So if the reputation of the information is damaged or it has been affected, the integrity of that information is not even put, it's not even considered. It was never even considered in the first place. So the information that is being given to you, that if, okay, now let's take for instance, now Priscilla, I give you an information, right? I share a particular information with you, probably in a documented format. I share it with you, and then you now feel like, oh, I'm close to, or let's say you went through my document. Let's say I gave you access to look through the document. You look at it, you view that document. You're like, okay, since Priscilla is my friend, I saw a particular mistake. Let me change it for her. You've altered the integrity of that particular information because I did not give you the authority to change whatever it is that is in that information. The best you can probably do to me is just say, you just let me know. It's like, I noticed this particular aspect of this document. I noticed there's a particular difference in it. I feel it should be like, or it's supposed to be like this. Then let's say I'm the one who holds the authority on that document. Let me be the one to change it, not you changing it on my behalf just because you feel like, my friend, let me just help her. So the integrity of that information should be properly protected. So an example of this is accidental or malicious modification of data, that's altering of financial, and a common example is altering of financial records. Corruption of files during transfer due to malware or network errors. Adding to this example too should be a man-made decision. Then availability. The availability here simply means you ensuring that authorized users have reliable access to the information and the systems that you've put in place when needed. It should not be a thing of, it should not take you 5 working days to make someone have access to a particular system, especially if the person has been authorized to have access to it, right? So it is best achieved through backups, failovers, and disaster recovery planning, just in case if the current or existing system is faulty. People should still be able to have access to that information based on the measures that you've already put in place. So an example of this is denial of service attack, causing non-availability of services. Then we have hardware failures or natural disasters, critical systems. Okay, so I just checked the chat box. Ishmael said something in response to Michael's definition of the management. Is this another one? Yeah, so he said that, so in a way, cybersecurity is a subset of information security. Yes, it actually is a subset. All of them are, well, I used to say that information security is their mother. All of them are the father. I mean, children. Anything ISO 20 something, 27023, 27032, 27005, 27035. They are all on that information security management framework. So now let's move on. We look at the risk management basis attached to our information security management system. So what is risk management? Before I move on to it, anybody, please, I would appreciate our answers in the chat box. What do we understand to be, or what do we understand risk management to be all about? What is risk management? What is risk management? Okay, yes, please go ahead. Ishmael. Please correct me. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Is it Ishmael? You can go ahead to unmute your mic. Nike said your ability to identify and manage risk in an organization. Okay.
The name is Ismail.
Ismail.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
So risk
apologies for you.
management
Okay.
process for identifying, analyzing, and mitigating risk. And what do we mean by risk? We mean opportunity or threats that can affect our business objective.
I like that. That can affect our business objective. Okay, thank you so much. Any other person? Priscilla said what you do to prevent the risk from happening. Okay. I'm seeing different angles of definition today. I'm learning a lot from you guys. Someone said, Michael said, risk management is a way of assessing and evaluation of the likelihood and impact of risk in order to apply treatments to it and also implement applicable controls. Thank you. Loretta said, analyzing possible risk and how to manage it. Thank you very much. That is also very much correct. Omo said, identify, manage, analysis, evaluation, and addressing uncertainty. I love that. I actually love that. Uncertainty. The word uncertainty is clock it. Then Ismail said, is information security same as cyber? No, they are actually not the same thing. They're actually not the same thing. So cybersecurity is like a subset of information security. Cybersecurity is a whole different framework on its own. But you would later realize when you are looking at the management system for cybersecurity, you will be seeing references, they'll be making references to some controls in information security management system. And also information security management system also makes some references to the cybersecurity framework too. So yeah. To this effect, we have the risk treatment such as accept, mitigate, avoid. Mr. Michael, it's like you didn't want to take our class today. Honesty said the process of preventing, process of prevention of how to manage risk in an organization. Thank you so much. We are all still very much correct. So risk management is the process of identifying, analyzing, and addressing risk associated to or within our organization and the minimization of its impacts on our organization's information assets. So one of the key things we look at in risk assessments in information security, we treat the assets, we look at it from the point of our assets within our organization. So it's more, we call it the asset-based risk assessment. Right? So we identify all of our assets within the organization, critical assets within our organization, assets that we know that we cannot do without, that we know that certain information or assets which we know that certain information is being stored on, or assets we use to manage a particular system within the organization. We identify those assets and then we identify the risk, the possible risk that can be attached to these assets. You identify them, whether it has happened before or it has never happened before. you still identify the risk that is attached to them. Then also, it also risk assessment, when we are looking at it from the asset-based risk, we now look at how we can properly manage that risk so as to reduce the impact, the effect of the impact within our organization or to an organization. Or within an organization. So it is very much important that we put all of these things into considerations. Good morning, sir. It's very much important that we put all of these things into consideration, right? So what are the key concepts of risk management? We have our risk, we have the threats. So yeah, when you are treating your risk, you look at the threats and the vulnerabilities that can or that is applicable to those assets. The vulnerabilities, then the impacts, then adding to this list to the likelihood of that particular risk occurring. So it has a process attached to it, which is the risk identification. We have the risk assessment. You identify your risk, you assess your risk, you treat your risk. Like Michael said, the examples: mitigation, acceptance, avoidance, and transfer. So you mitigate it by yourself internally. You accept it. There are some risks that there's no even point. It's always going to be there. You just have to just accept it, as long as it does not affect some of your critical processes within the organization. Then avoidance, you can avoid that risk. Instead of you waiting to when it happens, it's better you probably avoid it. Then you have transfer. I mean, if you see that it's beyond your power for mitigation, you take it out. You say, please, I need your help. Please come and help us. We not want to manage this risk, but with the current capacity that we have within our organization, we cannot be able to. Then we also have the continuous monitoring of our risk that we've already assessed and we've already treated. Don't say because of, it is on media, you leave it alone, you don't properly assess it, you don't check it on a regular basis. There are some risks that it can be low now. If you don't put in proper measures to maintain it in that low, that is low, by the time it will move to medium, by the time it will move to high, it's usually in a twinkle of an eye. So importance of risk management: number one, it helps ensure that resources are allocated efficiently and effectively to protect our critical assets. Number two, it helps align our information security efforts with our business objectives. That's what Mr. Ismail. That's what our brother explained to us that time when he said it. Then it also helps organizations comply with legal, regulatory, and contractual requirements. Like, so many of us are familiar with the Nigerian Data Protection Commission or the Data Protection Act in Nigeria. So it's one of the requirements of that particular management, of that particular regulatory body, is to ensure that you put in certain measures to help manage your data, the information within your organization. And one of the ways that you can prove to show that, okay, yes, it's under control, so when you have the management system implemented within your organization. So when it comes to mitigating threats and vulnerabilities, number one, we need to conduct regular security audits and vulnerability assessments. We need to conduct it regularly. Like, let's not just sleep on it and just be like, oh, we've done it before, the next time we'll pick it up is in the next 2 years. By the time you come back after 2 years, you will see your zero in flying colors. Then you also have trained employees. It's also one of the main reasons why, the mitigation of threats and vulnerabilities within the organization is of importance, is because it also helps us train those employees the employees that manage that particular asset within the organization. It also it also helps you to train them so that they can be aware and understand what it is that they need to do, like the safe practices that they need to adopt. Then it also helps implement technical controls like firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and encryption. Then we also have established incident response plan to quickly address risk security breaches. So once you see, especially some risk that that, okay, we have no choice than to accept it. if you are going to accept it, make sure that the mitigation plan you have to help ensure that the acceptance criteria that you've already given to that particular risk remains in that level. Because if you don't have those in place, I think we all know that already. So we have the clauses. Michael mentioned that before. The main focus is from clause 4 to 10. The main focus is from clause 4 to 10, where we look, clause 4, where we look at the context of the organization. That's where we understand the internal and external context of the organization. Clause 4.2 is where we understand the needs and expectations of our interested parties. Right? It's not only your organization that is involved, you have people that are attached to you also that is involved. And that's why it's good for you as an organization to do feedback, to always get feedback from your client or from your customers or stakeholders. Okay, what do you think we can improve on? Those of us that are in Nigeria that are using Wema Bank application, now I'm even tired of their questioning that they used to question. Because as I'm opening the app, I must feel there's like a feedback that I must give. If I don't give that feedback, it will keep popping up till I give the feedback. So and those are very, very much important aspects for us when it comes to implementation of the standard. Then it also 4.2 is determining the scope of the management system. What area do we want the ISMS framework to cover within our organization? Then we also have the information security management system processes, like you identifying how the management system is in collaboration with the processes that is being done within the organization. Then we have leadership. Leadership, that's leadership and commitment for 5.1. 5.2 is the policies that we've adopted. 5.3 is the roles, responsibilities, and authorities that are involved within the organization with regards to the implementation of the standard. Then we also have actions 6.0, which is 6.1, 6.0, which is the planning phase. And we have 6.1, which is the actions to address risk and opportunities. This is where we come up with our risk methodology, we define our acceptance criteria, we define our risk appetite, we define what our likelihood is, our impact is, the rating of our risk. We identify the assets that we're conducting risk on. We identify the vulnerabilities and the threats attached to each of the assets. We define how we want to mitigate the identified risks. So that's what the 6.1, which is the actions to address risk and opportunities. Then also in 6.1, we look at, when we look at clause 4, understanding the needs and expectations of our interested parties, and the clause 4 aspect, when you understand the context of the organization, you also look at the risk that can be attached to our organization as a whole. The risk that can be attached to our organization as a whole, and the opportunities that our organizations can leverage on. We also identify it here in the 6.1. Then we have 6.2, which is the information security objectives and the plans in which we want to put in place to achieve these objectives. Then we have 6.3, which is the planning and preparation phase. 7.0, which is the resources. 7.0, which is the support system that the management has already put in place. 7.1, which is us looking at the resources that we want, or resources that are already made available to help with the implementation of the standard. 7.2, which is the competence of the people who we've put within that particular, the people who we've put to manage the implementation of that particular framework within our organization. How competent are they? And even the staff, the organization as a whole. I think we looked at that previously. Then 7.3, the awareness that has been put in place to ensure that, okay, people are, they know of these things. It's not only for the IT department. And that's one mistake that so many organizations make. They be like, okay, since the year information security management system is just for IT, it's IT's business. I'm not in IT. It's IT, call IT, call IT. What is call IT? It's for every body as a whole.
Hello, Priscilla. We can't hear you anymore. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. We apologize for that. Let's try to get her back on the call. Thank you. Hello, Priscilla. If you are still speaking, you are muted. We can't hear you. We sincerely apologize for that. Please be patient while we try to get her back. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Please, we sincerely apologize for that. We are still trying to get her back on the call. I'm so sorry for that. All right, I think the trainer is really finding it difficult to join back. Please just be patient for a moment and then we'll continue from where she stopped. Thank you.
All right, everybody, thank you so much. We're so sorry for the delay. I guess Priscilla has issues with her network, and right about now, it's time for the next trainer because this is 10:33 already. So, we'll take 2 more minutes to try getting her on the call, and if not, we'll move ahead with the next session. So let's take 2 more minutes to try to get her back on the call. Thank you.
Okay, sorry, apologies about that, everyone. Can
All
you
right.
confirm
Thank you so
if you
much for
can hear
joining us
me?
back, Priscilla. Yes, we can hear you. We can take the last
Okay, yes.
part of the class now because
Yeah,
thank you so
yeah,
much.
time is already fast spent. I'm almost done. Thank you so much for your patience. Okay, please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen now.
Okay, thank you. So, yeah, we stopped at management review. That is 9.3, where we look at you give your management an update. They need to be aware, and then you table in necessary or certain things that has been identified during the course of the implementation or the continuous monitoring of the standard within the organization. You let them know that MD sir, I think we should change this. This tool we are using is already, it's not helping us. It cannot help us build the capacity we want, but it cannot even help us get to where we want to get to as an organization when it comes to the implementation of the standard. Then we have the last clause, which is the clause 10. We have the which is the improvement clause. We have 10.1, which is continual improvements. Continuously improve on what it is that you put in place. Check if what it is you won't put in place is even working for you. So you need to continually check on it. Just like I said, just don't put it there. Okay, now let's take for instance now your personal self. You can't just buy a car and put it in your compound. Say yes, you bought a car, you leave it there. You would want to take it for a ride. If you take it for a ride, if you notice a little glitch, you will take it to the mechanic to change it, to check what it is that is wrong with it. You can't just leave it alone like that. So take that same seriousness with the implementation of the standard or the adaptation of the standard within the organization. Let's not just say for certificate purpose, we've gotten it, then let's leave it alone as that. No, you have to continually improve on the existing controls or the adopted controls that you already put in place within your organization. Then you have the 10.2, which is the non-conformities and corrective action clause. So you see the continual improvement and the tempo and non-conformities and continual and corrective action clause is actually like an answer to your internal audit. So when you do internal audit, like I said, it's like a check. It gives you like a check on where you are currently as an organization with regards to the standard. So once you've been able to identify any glitch or any bit of uncertainty, you've noted maybe a non-conformity, you look at it, you see how you look at how you as an organization or as an individual can properly improve on what it is that has been identified as a non-conformity. Because it might be, and once it is a non-conformity, that means, especially if it is a minor or major non-conformity, that means you are doing something very, very wrong, or there's something that is not being done right. You probably have the right things in place, but you are not doing it the way you actually put it, or the way you've actually put those particular things in place. So yeah, this is just a breakdown of the explanation of the clause from clause 4 to clause this is the risk, to clause 10, clause 8, information security risk, asset-based risk, the performance evaluation for clause 9, the internal audit, I mentioned, we already looked at that. Then the continual improvement of that. Then looking at the Annex A controls, there are 93 controls, and there are 4 major things within the Annex A controls. We have the organizational controls, which comprises of 37 controls, the people control, which comprises of 8 controls, the physical controls, which comprises of 14 controls, and the technological controls, which comprises of 34 controls. So all of these controls provide like a set of information security controls that helps you within an organization to properly improve on what it is that you have with regards to information security management within the organization. And not all of them are mandatory, like I said before. Not all of them are mandatory. If your organization, it does not work physically, you don't have a physical space, you guys work fully remote, there's nothing that has to do with physical control policy. Like physical control policies does not concern you. And if you don't work remotely as an organization, remote working policy does not apply to you. So you just need to identify which of these controls applies to you as an organization. Please kindly confirm if you can still hear me. Okay. All right. So for each, and I put a note here, I said for each of these, each control is accompanied by attributes such as the control type, the information security process properties, which is the CIA triad, and also the operational phase to enhance the traceability and integration of this management system with digital risk management system. You see the continuous mention of risk. And one of the things that we consider when it comes to the implementation of the standard is the PDCA cycle. The P stands for your planning phase, the D for your do, the C for your check, the A for your act. So our time is fast spent. I would have really loved to dive into what each of these things means. But they are all, it's still also around the implementation of the standard. If you look at it from clause 4 to 5, from clause 4 to 10, the PDCA cycle is adopted. Then, the organizational controls, this is just like a breakdown of each of these controls. In the organizational controls, we have 37 controls. So these are all the 37 controls in the organizational controls. The people controls, we have 8 controls. It's here people management, organizational control, organization management. Look at it from that standpoint. Physical control, physical environment management, or physical organization, physical management. So, however we want to put our English. Then, with physical controls, yes, we've looked at that. The technological controls, we have 34 technological controls. So this is just a breakdown of everything. So a summary of everything we've actually looked at: the organizational controls, the people controls, physical controls, technological controls. So these are just breakdown definition of what each of these controls entails. The organizational controls addresses governance, policies, rules, roles, and compliance structure that establish and maintain an information security management system. The people control addresses the human element of the information security aspect within the organization, which focus more on the awareness aspect, the responsibilities of each of the staff within the organization, and their personal life cycle management. And the physical control protect the physical facilities and equipment from unauthorized access. Then technological controls, encompasses the technical measures for protecting our networks, our applications, our systems, and also help protect our data. In conclusion, for you to implement an effective ISMS framework within your organization, the PDA cycle must be considered. What you check, you plan, you do what you plan, you check what you've done and what you plan, then you act based on what it is you've checked, based on what you've done, based on what you plan. If that makes sense. I believe it makes sense. The ISMS objectives must be smart. It must be smart. That's one of the key things we look at when it comes to ISMS objective. It must be specific, it must be measurable, it must be accurate, it must be reliable, and it must be time-bound, right? That's the meaning of smart. Then we look at the internal and external factors to our organization with regards to that standard. That's when we looked at it. We looked at that in the clause 4 point, in the clause 4. Yes, clause 4 aspects. Then we look at for you to also effectively manage this, you also have to consider your risk assessments and conduct those risks based on the identified controls that you have within your organization. And an effective documentation must be put in place. It's not about just doing it. Put down what it is that you do. Write it down. So when you leave the organization, another person that's coming to take over can be able to know what it is that they are supposed to do based on what it is that has already been penned down within the organization. So an effective awareness and communication measure must be put in place. Then all identified controls should be properly stated and justified in our SOA. So it is of importance that these identified controls must be mapped against your risk assessment. You must also show the dependencies between these controls to help prevent the redundancy of controls. There are some controls that some organizations just adopt, and it's just there. It's just there, and that's because they don't even know what it is. They don't know what the control is even all about. Then also, it is also important that you implement these particular controls into your organizational operational processes, and also make sure that these controls are properly implemented, they are regularly reviewed and improved on, so as to ensure the proper compliance to the standard. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to me. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad to take or to be a part of this session. So yeah, I've come to the end of my session. Do you have any question for me? Do you have any observation? Do you need anything to be addressed so you can understand? You're welcome. Thank you, Loretta. Thank you so much, Mr. Ismail. Oh, a template for carrying out risk assessment in clause 8. I think we should speak with Transformation College with regards to that. If they say yes, I go ahead with it. They say no, but I know they will say yes. So you are welcome, Nike. You are welcome, Omo. Thank you so much, everyone. I think in the absence of no question, thank you so much, Chinaza. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. So in the absence of no question, I take this as my warm exit from the class. Right. So Mercy, over to you.
Yes, thank you so much, Priscilla. Thank you for the wonderful session. It was really insightful. It was really great. We all had value for our time. Thank you so much. The time is fast spent. So briefly, I would be introducing the next trainer. Please give me a minute to share my screen.